We are now conducting our final systems check. Please stow all carry-on items in the under-seat compartment. For your safety, remain seated with your seatbelt fastened during your flight and watch your children. Soarin' to tower. We are ready for takeoff. On behalf of our entire flight crew, thanks for soaring with us.
WDW Radio, your information station.
Hello, my friend, and welcome to the WDW Radio Show, your Walt Disney World information station. I am your host, Lou Mangello, and this is show number 673, and together we're going to celebrate the magic of the Disney parks, movies, and more here on the podcast, my weekly live video on Facebook every Wednesday night, community, blog, and more. Please be sure to subscribe to the podcast and find everything else at WDWRadio.com. So from what, when, and how to eat to fun opportunities to walk, run, play, and exercise while you're in Walt Disney World, we're going to share our ways to stay, and even get, healthy and fit in Walt Disney World, including a unique secret activity that you've probably never seen or tried before. I'll then have our Disney Trivia Question of the Week, updates, your voicemails, and more. So sit back, relax, and enjoy this week's episode of the WDW Radio Show. When we visit Walt Disney World, it is often a time to relax, indulge, and enjoy what the parks and resorts have to offer. From Dole Whips to fuzzy tauntauns to relaxing by the pool and kitchen sinks for desserts, it's easy to sometimes get away from our routines or even desires in trying to be healthy. But in fact, not only is it possible, but I think there are some easy ways to make some smart choices and take advantage of some great opportunities while you're here on vacation that won't bring your healthy routine to a screeching halt. So this week, we're going to look at how to stay, or dare I say even get, healthy and fit at Walt Disney World. And joining me are two friends, fellow Walt Disney World locals, to help guide us along this journey. I want to welcome back to the show Amanda Bonner from Disney Travel for All and the relatively brand new-ish HealthyDisney.com.
Thank you so much. It's been a year now since I've lived here, and I'm so excited to be back here with you.
Best thing you ever just did, isn't it?
Absolutely.
And for the first time in ever, I want to welcome very, very new transplant. Welcome home and welcome to the show, Julie Voris from JulieVoris.com.
Well, hello. It's funny, Amanda. It's funny that you said that to Amanda, because we were just messaging. We're like, this is the best thing ever that we live here now. And I'll text her. I'm like, is that the ticket and transportation center ferry that I'm hearing right now? This is amazing. So
I have received my fair share of texts from you like, oh my God, I can't believe I live here. Look at me. I am over at the boathouse. So I love it. And that novelty, I will tell you, never really wears off.
I hope not. I hope it doesn't.
No.
Yeah. And I'm actually going to touch on, we did a 2-part show at Moving to Disney a while back. I'm going to touch on that again and either do a follow-up show or a follow-up live show, which I'd love for you guys to be a part of. But for today's purposes, we are talking about getting healthy and getting fit, or staying healthy and fit while you're at Walt Disney World. And both of you, and all of us really, I should not include myself in this conversation, but are on your own fitness journeys and paths. And you're also both helping others make healthy choices by not just following along with you and what you do, but by you helping to educate and inspire them. So quickly, Amanda and Julie, tell us about what you're doing, your fitness lifestyle. Like Amanda, you have Healthy Disney, and then Julie, what you do as well.
Yeah, I'll start. I have Disney Travel for All podcasts that started a couple of years ago, and that's aimed more at adults and solo travelers who want to come to Disney parks or cruise. And then, as I lived here and started to look for ways I wanted to improve my health, I thought there's not much out there. There's everything you could find about what's the most delicious treat, what's the best drink. And don't get me wrong, I do enjoy those, but I'm working on improving my overall health. And I do understand what it's like to come on vacation, even though I do live here now locally. So I want to approach it kind of as both ways, right? I have the advantage of being able to go pop in and out of a park and walk and try some maybe new healthy treats that I can help other people to understand as they're here on vacation. So what started the Healthy Disney aspect, and I'm actually doing now a monthly Walk the World, where we can meet at different places around Walt Disney World, and soon maybe I'll be going to other locations too and walk the world in other places. And it's just a great way to meet up and connect and get some exercise in together.
Love it. Julie?
I love that so much. Well, I feel like movement's been a part of my life, my whole life. I don't think, Lou, this will surprise you, but I've always been the girl who can't sit still very well. So I've just sort of translated that into a career. I was a high school English teacher, turned fitness instructor, turned master trainer, and now turned online business owner. And those last pieces all revolved around this connection that I feel, this deep, deep connection I feel around your fitness is your life. What you do in your workout is what you do in your life. And fitness creates and builds habits and mindsets so much deeper than just a six-pack abs. I mean, at the end of the day, who really cares about that? But if you learn that you're stronger as a human through your workout, through your fitness, I think you can translate that to every other aspect of your life. And after you move your body, I'm just saying from personal experience, after you move your body, you are much better able to take care of, let's say, I don't know, a crying toddler in the supermarket, or a feisty teenager, or, whatever might be happening, a husband that is not listening, or partner, whatever it is. I feel like after you move your body, you just get more patient, more kind, more clarity, more ability to handle all the stuff that's going on in the world. And let's be clear, there's a lot of stuff that's going on in the world. It's one of the reasons why we come to Disney. It's one of the reasons why we love it so much. It's a little bit of a escape from that. It just doesn't have to be an escape from healthy habits that help us feel better overall.
And what I love, and part of the reason why I want to do this, is just because you are escaping to Walt Disney World on vacation or to sort of clear your mind, it does not mean that your fitness journey, your health quest has to necessarily come to a stop. And really inspired by you and questions from listeners. And I think because we all are on our own individual and often very different fitness quests or desires, whether we've started or not, it's important to remember that you don't have to stop when you come to Walt Disney World. And I really want to start off by dispelling a myth that has been going around for a long, long time. This whole idea that calories don't count when you come to Walt Disney World. When you move here, you will realize just how untrue that really is. I think I figured out. When you're inside the Disney bubble, the calories don't count. As soon as you step foot off property, it's like the Nutty Professor, like all of a sudden, like you just like get big, like and all the calories kick in. So it's important to be mindful of making a lot of those healthy choices. And before you say, well, listen, I'm not worried about fitness, I don't care about exercise, I also want to be clear in terms of who this is for, because I think it really can and does apply to everyone. So if you're a parent and you maybe don't want your kids to be eating hot dogs and wired on sugar so that they never sleep again, this is for you. If you are someone who works hard or not so hard and wants to stay fit and doesn't want to blow it when you come to the parks, this is for you. If you're somebody who would like to and would need to start exercising, but also, don't want to be worrying about going to the gym, like you still want to have fun, this is for you. And maybe if you're looking to start getting healthy and think that now is the time, now is the best time, this is a way. If you're a local like us who live here and want to be healthy and realize that the calories don't count is a complete and utter mythology. And if you don't believe me, look at pictures of me from 8 years ago when I moved here. If you have special dietary needs or wants or restrictions, look, I think you, everyone, anyone should always try and be healthy. And quote unquote healthy doesn't mean slipping into your Lululemons, drinking your 50,000 calorie protein shake at 4 a.m. Not that I'm looking at you, Julie. There's nothing wrong with that. But if you just want to take care of yourself and feel better, look, we only have one body, one mind, one life. It's important that we take care of it and ourselves the best way. Look, I think sometimes we take care of our things better than we take care of ourselves. So I want you to either continue on your journey or maybe be inspired to start getting healthy when and while you're at Walt Disney World.
If I can add something to that, first of all, I love that. And secondly, I just think we come here because we love it so much. And, as people who love it so much, when we know our friends are planning trips here, sometimes we want to help them because we want to help them have the most magical experience. I also want them to feel the best when they're here so they can actually enjoy the most magical experience. It's no fun to walk around, and I have been there. I've eaten something that hasn't agreed with me or whatever, and to walk around feeling like junk at this place that is so amazing, like we just don't have to. And there's sort of two sides to this in my brain. It's, first of all, just knowing that you're worth taking care of. And that, as you said, Lou, we get one shot at this. It's one ride. And my gosh, if the past 2 years haven't taught us how fast time goes and how precious time is, I don't know what else it's taught us. And we just get one shot at this. So let's take the best care that we can of ourselves. Not perfect. It's not perfect. It's the best care. So that when we come to this amazing place, we can have an amazing time. And at the same time, let's not be so precious about it. Like, we don't need to spend 4 hours in the gym ever. Not at Disney, not in your life, not ever, ever, ever. You don't need to do that. You don't need to be perfect on I don't even know what perfect is. So just knowing that you're worth taking care of no matter where you are, and also just not being so precious about what that routine looks like. And then knowing that the better care you take of yourself and the better choices that you make, you're going to have an even more magical time at this space that's already so amazing.
And I love what you said, Julie. It doesn't have to be perfect. It's a bunch of small steps that add up. For me, someone who's more plus size, I am working on losing weight, but also when Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind's open, I don't want to worry about how I'm going to fit in that seat. So that's a huge motivation for me, and I imagine for other people. But even if that's not your motivation, just to feel better, like you said, and be able to fully enjoy your time, and then not have to go home and be like, oh, I gained that 10 pounds or whatever the case is, I didn't get this much sleep. And then kind of you're already going back to work or whatever, real life, quote unquote, have to have that added burden when you should be feeling amazing after your vacation.
Right. And you don't want to worry about having, treating yourself to a fun snack or being overly regimented while you're on vacation, right? Like there's this balance, and we're going to talk about balance and moderation and everything in moderation, because you want to stay healthy. You maybe don't want to come home with, forget the freshman 15. You don't want to come home like with your Disney 4 or 5, or your Disney Cruise Line 10, because you can apply this to Disney Cruise Line too.
Sure.
You still want to enjoy your vacation. I think there's ways that you can do that. And we're going to talk about some of not just the avenues, but I think the opportunities to start getting, it might not make any sense, sort of be contradictory, but you can sort of start your healthy journey while you're at Walt Disney World, because we're going to talk about some of the exercise that you probably don't realize that you're doing already. So you can almost use Walt Disney World as a catalyst to begin your journey. And actually, before we started recording, the both of you talked about the same thing, the importance of starting at home, right? You don't have to take a vacation from your routine just because you are on vacation, and sort of carrying over, you're able to carry over what you are probably or hopefully doing already.
Yeah, that routine, I'm a big believer in morning routine, which, Lou, does not mean getting up at 4 a.m. So contrary to popular belief, I do not get up at 4 a.m., but I do have a morning routine because I believe that our morning hours are so powerful, and what we do in the morning sets us up for our day, sets us up for our life. So if you've got some pieces in your morning routine that help you feel the way you want to feel in your day, why would we stop doing those just because we're in a hotel room? I can still make my pre-workout drink in my hotel room. I can still make my shake in my hotel room. I can still do those things in my hotel room, not because I'm regimented about it, but because they make me feel better. So why do I want to walk into the Magic Kingdom feeling anything less than awesome? So that means, why would I stop some of those habits that I'm doing at home that make me feel awesome at home? I want to actually feel awesomer at Disney. So I want to even take better care of myself, almost to a point. So I just take those habits that I have at home and I bring them down here.
That's exactly what I was thinking. When I go on vacation, I want my self-care to actually increase, not decrease.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to make room to have maybe that indulgence of a little something sweet at Emirates Patisserie, or maybe I get a rum drink at Trader Sam's because that's the only place I can get it. But I am balancing it out, like Lou said earlier.
Well, I think to Amanda's point, I always think of this in the holidays too. Like Amanda, you specifically mentioned something you can only get at that bakery or only get at Trader Sam's. And it's that mindset that I also take into the holidays. Like, what am I going to spend my calories on? Quote, that's air quotes. What am I going to spend my calories on? Am I going to spend my calories on something that I could get any day of the week? Or am I going to spend my calories on my Aunt Suze's chocolate eclair cake that only she has the recipe for, that she makes from hand, and she only makes it one time a year? It's going to be that. And I'm going to enjoy every single bit of it. So when you come to this place, what are these pieces that you can maybe only get here? For us, when the girls were young, I mean, it was always a crisp rice treat or a lemon freeze. And what went along with that was sitting on the curb waiting for the 3:00 parade. So if they wanted to have a lemon ice, which they could not get in Indiana, and sit on that curb and play cards with their mom and their dad and have this lemon ice, which was a treat that they wouldn't get any other time while they're watching for the parade, I guarantee you right now, that's a core memory for them. That has less to do with the food and more to do with the whole experience, but it was also a food that they could only get here. And I think that's kind of all part of it too. What can you only get here? That's maybe where you go, rather than the food you could get any other time when you're back home.
Well, and I think that's really where we should start too, is with food and eating healthy at Walt Disney World. Not just because, hi, I'm Lou, but fitness isn't just about what, and being healthy isn't just about what you do with your body, but what you put into it. And I think Disney has done a remarkable job, especially over the past probably 5 years, of making it easy and convenient to eat healthy at Walt Disney World, not just at table service restaurant, but quick service and snack carts and fine dining. There are amazing healthy options. There's plant-based options. There's allergy-friendly options, smoothies and salads and low calories. And while we're not going to necessarily go into individual menus and items, because there are so many and they are incredibly plentiful, but they're also easy to find, I do want to talk about some tips that we can share about how best to eat healthy at Walt Disney World. And it doesn't require some sort of massive life change, like I'm not going to eat carbs ever, which is actually bad, but it's some small things that you can do and almost a la carte pick and choose from some of these things that best fit your lifestyle and your vacation. So, Julie and Amanda, give me some of your tips about eating healthy at Walt Disney World.
I love that you can do all the mobile ordering now for the quick service locations, and you can sort by different dietary restrictions on that. It also, some of those have photos. It gives you could browse different restaurants before you decide where you want to go. Or like you said, Lou, do a la carte, go get something that might be a little healthier at Pecos Bills. And then if you really want a hot dog, get that at Casey's, balance it out. There are all kinds of fresh fruit stands too. Animal Kingdom in particular has some really great healthy food options. And then if you're doing table service, always ask for substitutions. I was going to Skipper Canteen, And I said, oh, I don't want a big salad with my entree, but I just want a little side salad. She said, get the kids' garden salad. So the servers know, the cast members know how to do this. And if you tell them, oh, I'm working on being a little healthier, they come up with some great options for you and they'll work with you.
Mm-hmm. That's so, when we were down here in December, to sign the papers on our house so we could move here when we were down here, we were staying at Saratoga Springs, and we went into the little, quick serve restaurant, and there was nothing on the menu that specifically was vegan and gluten-free. And I was kind of walking around, talking to the cast member who was working there, and was kind of lamenting that there wasn't anything that was vegan and gluten-free. And he said, whoa, wait just a second. Let me go get the chef. Went back, brought out the chef and the assistant chef, and they stood there and had a conversation with me about, well, on this salad, what could we do? Yeah, I'll add this. How about I add this? Would you like this? Would you add this? And then went back, worked some magic, and came back with a salad that they had literally created just for me, all because I'd asked. So that ask is so worth it when you've got some specific dietary situations that you want to adhere to. Just ask, because more than anything, Walt Disney World wants to make you happy. They want you to have a magical experience. They want you to walk away talking about it. And I have talked about that story to anyone that I know that's coming down here. I'm like, listen, just ask and they will help you. And I do think, again, there's a difference between, like, Lou, you're a foodie. And I love that about you, because you have such joy in the food that's here. It's all part of your experience here. I think that's so cool. And I don't know that everyone is to that degree. They come down and they just think, well, I have to eat all the things because I'm on vacation. And my question would be, but why? If it doesn't make you feel good? You love you do. It's so amazing. And there's nothing wrong with that. I think that's the piece of it. There's nothing wrong with coming down here, and no one should listen to this and go, well, you're telling me that I can't come down and enjoy the foods I want. No, nobody is saying that. I'm just saying, Amanda's saying, Lou's saying, how can you come down and feel a little bit better and have some healthier choices if that's the path that you're on? Because I so desperately want you to have an amazing experience, and I want you to go home and feel good and not feel like Amanda said, like you took 10 steps back because you ate all the things. So asking yourself if the thing that you're eating is really the thing that you want. And if you're a foodie, these things that you're eating could be, but if you're not, maybe you're just eating it because you think it's the thing that you're supposed to eat. Or maybe you just didn't ask the chef to make you something else. Or maybe you could have brought your own food. We used to bring our own food in our suitcases for the girls. We used to bring the juice boxes with the granola bars and all the things. We'd bring that stuff down, not just as a way to stay healthy, but also, newsflash, as a way to save money so that we could kind of stay on our journey and also not spend all our money just on food, because that's not necessarily something I can take back with me. The memory of the lemon ice, we can take that. That's forever in my girls' experiences. But every little snack or whatever that we might have bought probably wasn't. The special dinner at 1900 Park Fair, absolutely. Who cares what you eat? That's an experience, but that's also only something I'm getting here. So I just really try to navigate that space between staying on my journey so I can feel the best and dipping into those special experiences I can only get here. And if you're a foodie, you should come down here and love on the food that you can only get here.
Right. And as we said before, we're talking about everything in moderation and not trying to do it cold turkey because, one, it's not sustainable. Two, I will tell you from experience, it does not make you happy. There was a time I was on this sort of healthy journey and I thought I had to sort of go to this extreme, and it's not. Like, that's not the way to do it. It's not cold turkey. I think about it in terms of like the Pareto principle, right? The 80-20 rule. For a lot of outcomes, 80% of the consequences come from 20% of the causes and decisions. So you can eat, 80%, and this is not an accurate measurement, but like do your 80% healthy, but don't be afraid to indulge in that 20% of whatever you wanted. So for me, when I thought about ways and tips to eat healthy, I figured, hi, I'm Lou. It's talking about food, and I'm going to make it a mini, quick, lightning round top 10 list. 10 tips to eat healthy in Walt Disney World. And you feel free to jump in, chime in, agree or disagree. So I think one, obviously the thing that makes the most sense is thinking about healthier choices in terms of healthier foods. Like instead of maybe a burger, so many, like salmon is such a good, smart, healthy food. You don't need to go to Victoria and Albert's to have salmon. Like Sunshine Seasons Food Fair, Columbia Harbor House, the Commissary. Like there are quick service locations where you can get a salmon as a platter, as a salad. I love places that you can make your own. Like I love make your own bowls and sort of create and portion what you want. So Thule Canteen is arguably the best quick service restaurant in all of Walt Disney World because of the customization and because you can make it as healthy as you need it to be. Pecos Bills, you're like, wait a minute, Mangello, you just said healthy and Pecos Bills in the same sentence. You can get sort of the basics of what you want to eat, maybe without a bun. Take advantage of the fixins bar and the vegetables and the salad that's on there to make it healthier. Maybe you get a wrap instead of a roll, right? You ditch some of those carbs, not entirely because you need them for energy, and looking for things that are maybe fresh as opposed to processed. And look, I have a body that's built on French fries. I admit that, but you can ask to have fruits or vegetables on the side. Again, not just at sit-down restaurants, but at counter service as well. Speaking of the side, get the sauce on the side. Get your dressing on the side. Like it is an easy way that you can like sauce to taste, but still save on some of those calories. I think, Julie, you mentioned, don't be afraid to ask for an appetizer size portion, order off the kids menu, or even like a half portion of something. You'll be surprised at just how accommodating places are.
Split it with, you know, like if you're there with your partner or your spouse, your kids, like split it so that not only do you save a little bit on calories, if that's your focus, but you also save money. So again, you know, it's an expensive trip. It can be an expensive trip. Here's another way that you could save money, split it, and then, you know, find something else that you can split. Now you get to try more than one thing. And, you know, you haven't broken the bank just on food.
And I think knowing what to eat and when to eat is also helpful too. So for me, I think eating a healthy, hearty, smart breakfast, like fill up on breakfast, right? Why? Not only do you need the energy, but you're going to walk it off a lot during the day. For me, especially when like years ago when I was trying to get healthy, I really tried to limit my carbs after 5 o'clock at night. So I would eat a big, healthy breakfast. I would have a late dinner, a late lunch, early dinner. So I wasn't doing this very heavy, carb-heavy dinner, maybe a later night snack to sort of give me a little more energy. But eating your carbs early in the day, not only will you walk it off, but you get that energy in return too.
Well, once you get into restaurants, easier too, if you can go on some of those off times. So when you're eating, trying to find the dining reservations, if you are willing to go on a little bit of an off time, you're probably more likely to find a reservation. So, okay, now here's another win. So you get to, you know, go at a time that works for you and that keeps you on your journey, but also you get to actually get into the restaurant that you've been wanting to get into because you're willing to go at 11 a.m. or 3 p.m. because that's kind of how you've structured your day.
And we talked about indulging, and I think indulging is fine, whether it's a kitchen sink, Dole Whip, whatever it is, it's fine as long as you do it in moderation. Right? Like just because you're in Walt Disney World, you can't just lose your marbles and be like, I want 4 Mickey pretzels and that oh so very delicious fake cheese sauce, which probably isn't cheese, but who cares? It's delicious. Like doing it in moderation. But
well, you could lose your marbles, but you're just going to not feel good while you're doing it.
I often do lose my marbles. Just ask the boathouse. The other thing you could do too, and again, you and I say this because I don't want you to be afraid or embarrassed to do this, but depending on where you go, you can sometimes ask, and I have no other way to describe it other than a word that I saw used at the Food and Wine Festival recently, is asking for your meal deconstructed. And what I mean by that is sort of referring to what I said before, having the dressing, the sauces, the toppings on the side so you are able to control the portions and control the calories. And the other thing I think too, like for me, I would prefer to eat my calories rather than drink my calories. So skip the soda. Like I would rather see you skip the soda, or even like, look, people forget how many calories and not so necessarily healthy. Yes, there might be fruit juice in your Mai Tai, but alcohol is not necessarily the best utilization of your caloric intake.
Well, I mean, have you been to Epcot recently and seen the drink around the world? We can all attest to the fools that are walking around there right now. So I'm just saying that I said what I said. But hydration is, to your point, was super important. Just as humans, generally, we walk around in a mild state of hydration, just as we are normally human beings. So then you bring yourself down to Florida, where it's probably warmer than where you might be. It's probably more humid. You're probably moving more. You could be eating foods with more salts. And what you might think is hunger could be dehydration, because you probably already started a little bit dehydrated just because you're a human being, not because you're a bad human being, just because you're a human being. And this is just sort of what we do. So if you feel like you're getting hungry, you might also ask yourself, am I hydrated? Because I'm telling you right now, a hydrated human is a much happier human.
Yeah, and when you think hydration, like, it's important to drink water. Like, soda and juice is not the answer to get hydrated. No. It is plain, free water that you can get. You don't have to worry about buying a $4 bottle of water. You can go to any counter service location, and they'll be happy to give you, a bottle of water. A lot of people like to bring their own bottles too. I know we're starting to see more like refillable drink stations. I'm thinking like in the marketplace in Galaxy's Edge, which is great. So you bring your own bottle. And that's sort of another tip too. And I think one of you mentioned this too, is packing your own healthy snacks and water. Like when I travel, look, if God forbid, if we're on a plane together and God forbid the plane goes down, you want to sit next to me, because I pack like 16 pounds of snacks in my backpack, because like I'm going to hold the shell on the island. Like I'm ready. But you can bring healthy things, like almonds are a great snack. Like they're high in protein, they're low in calories, they give you a lot of energy. Beef jerky, dried fruits, healthy trail mix, because there's some unhealthy trail mixes. Just because it says health trail mix, the fact that it has M&Ms does not make it healthy. They travel easy. They're easy to pack. And obviously, there's no problem with you bringing them in. Like you said, Julie, it's a great way to save money, too.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just keep in mind, don't bring anything that melts, because it is, like you said, Florida, and it's hot. So no chocolate.
Lou, I'm so glad to hear that you have your own snacks, because this is a habit we're always working on with my husband. We're always like, I'm sorry, you're a grown man. How are you hangry? Why? Like, do you not understand your cues? So just because you might be married to someone who thinks and sleeps and breathes health and fitness all the time, that's my passion, that does not mean those habits rub off on everyone that's in your house. And so my husband's always like, I'm starving. We're like, well, did you bring a snack? No, I didn't bring it. Like, well, that's on you. You're a grown man. So bring your own snacks, get your kids to bring their snacks, save money. You are more assured if they have food allergies that you're giving them and bringing something that is safe for them. They like to feel in control of that. And it's just a great way to keep yourself, on track without breaking the bank and without losing your marbles, as you say.
Right. Like, but if you're standing in a long queue for Rise of the Resistance or Flight of Passage, that little handful of almonds is going to go a long, long way to curbing your craving for what might be an easy fix, which is something that is not as healthy if you, jump out of line or if you go get something else. So don't be afraid to pack your stuff. And really the last tip I have is Disney's making it easier for parents and for just anybody at the park. Look for the Mickey check symbol. It makes it very easy to identify nutritious and healthy meal options to make your decision-making process a lot easier. It was actually created really more for families, like for parents to be able to decide what's really good for kids. And I think it really sort of expanded almost into seeing it on other menu items in quick service carts and table service restaurants as well. And I will sort of defer to the both of you, because I've seen you doing it on this call too, and I know you do it because, Julie, I've watched you live at 5:00 in the morning. You can also bring stuff and make stuff in your room. So, for example, I know like protein shakes. Like you can bring your own sort of mini shake mixer. I don't know what the official term. Like you make your own little shakes in your room before you go. It gives you good, smart calories. You're saving money, and it gives you energy throughout the day as well.
Mm-hmm. Amanda, what do you do you stay in hotels as much now that you live here?
No, I do want to stay in
I know that's
resorts,
sad.
but
Now that's the thing that we missed. Now we can't stay in a hotel.
yeah, but I do, even when I travel non-Disney, believe it or not, I do travel non-Disney. I bring my blender bottle, and I make sure I also have my water bottle on the plane, because that's one of the worst places you could get really dehydrated, right? But take my energized drink and my shake, and just bring a little sponges cut up with dish soap on them that I can use every day. I did it on the Disney cruise, and it worked out perfectly.
I was going to ask you what you took on the cruise. Did you take your mini blender?
Yeah, I took a blender bottle, and it worked out perfectly. And then I would even get ice from room service. So it was great.
I take my frother. I think it's supposed to be a coffee frother. I don't drink coffee, but I take my frother everywhere I go, and it mixes up everything that I need. So it fits in my bag. I don't have frother. We'll travel, and off we go. And I mix it in my hotel room, or I'll mix it at the park, and off we go. And I know that I'm staying on track. I'm feeling good. I'm just staying aligned with my own food sensitivities and my own goals, and how I want to feel and how I want to function. More importantly, at the parks, how I want to feel and function at the parks. And it's just easy to take that stuff with you, and saves you money and saves you time. I mean, you can spend a lot of time waiting in line to get a snack. And I'd rather spend that time shopping, or just standing in line for a ride, or doing something else that's a little bit more productive.
And they often come in, you don't have to worry about bringing like your giant 2-gallon muscle whey protein thing. No. They come in single serve packets that are very easy to mix and pack and travel with too. Yeah.
And there's just such a myriad of choices that you can take. There's this cookie that I take called Gut Happy cookies, and they don't melt. So to Amanda's point, they're not chocolate, so they don't melt. And they come in a little package of 3, and I drop them in my bag, and off I go. So if I'm standing somewhere and I can feel myself like, okay, I think I need a little something, I've already brought something in my bag. I know it doesn't melt. I also know it's right in line with my dietary concerns and my dietary issues, and I don't have to spend time waiting in line to get that. Now, my husband will go get a Chip 'n Dale snack bag, which, that's fine too. Whatever works for you, as long as you are in control of yourself. Do not bring your hanger to us. So you got to be, because my gosh, how many times have we all been in a park? It's like 4 p.m. and you can feel it in the park, and you just want to turn to that parent and go, it's time for you to go home now. Like, you have a hungry, thirsty child. Your day is done. I don't care if you have reservations. You need to go home now. Your day is done. And often it's because you just got off track with there's been a sugar drop. You're not hydrated. You've eaten something, whatever. And there's nothing worse than ruining your magical trip.
And you hit on the key point, is that you have to find what works for you. There is no blueprint. There is no plan. That's why this is how you stay healthy. This is, here are some options. You can sort of pick and choose a la carte to what works best for you, your lifestyle, your goals, and how you want to vacation. And I think, like we said, part of this journey is not just what you put into your body, but what you do with your body as well. I know you may be in shock that Lou Mongello is going to talk about exercise. I've done it in the past a couple times, but I want to start off by saying that you might not realize it, but you're already doing it. Whether you think you exercise or not, when you come to Walt Disney World, you're doing it. I'm going to come full circle to trivia nerd Lou Mongello and the very first book I ever wrote, which was a trivia book. Did you know that the average guest in Walt Disney World, barring obviously special circumstances, the average guest walks more than 9 miles on an average day? Like, I think if you convert that to steps, it's like 30 some odd thousand steps, depending on how you step.
How steppy you are.
So, I mean, you are walking, you are exercising, whether you realize it or not. But there are so many ways, locations, and types of exercise that you can get in while you're in Walt Disney World that don't necessarily revolve around hitting the gym, pumping iron, whatever you do in the gym, or the treadmill. So again, Julie and Amanda and Julie, talk about some of the different opportunities that are plentiful for exercise in Walt Disney World. I think starting off with the most simple one, which is just walking.
There are certainly not a shortage of places to walk. And you're absolutely right. I read that as well, 7 to 9 miles a day, but then you multiply it by the number of days, right? Which is why I encourage people, if you can, to take a non-park day, not necessarily to not walk, but just to have a little bit of a break and do something else besides the parks, because it can be very intense when you're not only walking, but you're standing on that hard concrete, waiting in line after line after line in the heat, probably most of the time. So it feels good sometimes to get out and walk maybe around Crescent Lake by the boardwalk where you have more open air, more of a breeze, or to walk between the Port Orleans resort side. That's a beautiful walk. To walk around Disney Springs. We looped around Saratoga Springs, got onto the golf course, had never done that before. So they're all different kinds of great areas to walk, but it really, again, it starts where you have to prepare before you get to Walt Disney World, because if you wait, you're not going to have as enjoyable an experience.
Well, I always come back to the idea of the blue zones too. And blue zones are those people that live to be over 100. I don't know about you. I want to live to be over 100 because that means more trips to Walt Disney World for me. So I want to take care of myself and live to be 150. I've already warned my children. I'm here till like I'm 150 years old, so they better get ready. And in the blue zones, one of their core habits is they just walk a lot, not power walk, not walk for 6 hours at a time. They just walk. They'll walk a few times a day. Generally, after they eat, they just walk. And that walking, that movement, because our bodies are made to move. They just are. We are, as human being animals, made to move. And that walking helps increase our health. It's one of the best activities that we can do to live a longer, healthier life, just walking. And the beautiful thing about that is it's not complicated. We don't have to be precious about it. It's just that you get yourself, to Amanda's point about standing, get yourself a good pair of shoes. When I see people show up at the park and they've got like heels on or flip-flops, I'm like, what is happening right now? Like, I don't even know. Get yourself a pair of good shoes, invest in a pair of good shoes, get yourself a pair of good socks. You're going to need those, and just take advantage of that beautiful natural human movement to walk and walk a lot. And if you are looking to further your health and fitness journey, start looking for more opportunities to walk a little bit more. Maybe you take those extra steps. Maybe you have a step goal. Sometimes my girls and I would have like, how many steps can we get in a day? Just for the fun of it, not for competitive purposes, just just for fun. And I've noticed since moving down here to Florida, because it's very different weather than Carmel, Indiana was, I'm regularly getting in like 10 miles a day. I'm like, I am going to live to be 175 years old. This is amazing. And all I'm doing is walking. So preparing, getting good shoes, seeking out opportunities to get more steps in, should you choose to do so, and knowing that is such a beautiful way to move your body, a very natural, healthy way to move your body. Embrace it. Don't fight it. Like, really embrace it and know that it's going to help you be healthier. And then what would be lovely is to continue that habit when you go back home. Maybe it's not 10 miles because that's a little harder to do, maybe, but 3 miles a day or something like that. And that just helps continue that blue zone habit.
Right. And I think to your point, we are already walking a lot. We still can make some affirmative choices to maybe walk a little bit more, right? If you're staying at, Boardwalk or Yacht and Beach Club or Swan and Dolphin, walk to Epcot. You can walk to Hollywood Studios. It's actually a beautiful walk.
A beautiful walk.
Pathway that I'll give you a bit of trivia. It's called the Judson Green Walkway. Walk down the Judson Green Walkway. It's easier to walk. It's easier to walk to Hollywood Studios than it is to walk from Hollywood Studios at night because you're exhausted. But do that if you can. Look, even things like Gorilla Falls Exploration Trail and the Swiss Family Treehouse, you're doing a lot of walking. The treehouse, you're doing some stairs too. So you are getting some additional walking exercise while you're doing that. Obviously, the next step from walking is running. I'm not qualified. Look, I ran one half marathon. I've done a couple of 5Ks. I do better, I think, by cheering rather than running. But we have a running team, and we know a lot of people, all of us who are runners. And I think when you think about running, yes, there are Run Disney events, which are these organized events that you have to pre-register for, and they are incredibly fun. They're great community building events. Come join the running team if you want to do it. But there's also running opportunities throughout the parks that you can do on your own, that are actually set up for you already. You don't have to sort of make your own, and can be fun as well. So you might not realize that so many of the resorts have their own built-in walking, running, wogging, jogging, wheeling trails in them. And I'm actually going to refer over, because I'm not the expert, I'll refer over to our mutual friend, Lisa Denoto Glassner from the Castle Run, has a great post with pictures and maps of all the different running trails at the resorts, that I think range from about a half a mile to 2 miles. So depending on what your limits, goals, or boundaries are, you can take advantage of those. So do it in the morning, do it maybe while you go back in the middle of the day and maybe the kids are at the pool. You don't have to sort of base your run around this sort of organized event. I think she also has like a bunch of Spotify playlists too. So if you need sort of that music or Disney music to help sort of get you motivated too, it's sort of this complete package.
Hey, it's funny that you mentioned that, because my husband and I, we used to come with my parents. My dad was in the military, so we'd stay at Shades of Green. And again, to my point about I'm just a better parent on the other side of movement, he and I would get up early, and it had to be early because, it's hot in the summer in Disney. And we would get up early and we would do a run from Shades of Green, and we'd just kind of tool around Polynesian and wherever we could go, whatever, and come back. And, thankfully we had grandparents in the room that were watching the girls, but we were just better parents on the other side of that. There was no set route. We just sort of kind of did our thing in the morning for 30 minutes or something. And we were just better on the other side of that, because we took those 30 minutes that were just for ourselves, and it wasn't any kind of sanctioned trail. It was just us sort of zigzagging around the resorts to just find, the mileage that we wanted. And I felt like we were so much better on the other side of that.
I think a couple of my favorite places are Caribbean Beach Resort and Riviera. That's a great walking and running trail around there. And even if you're staying over at Pop Century at Art of Animation, now you could take the Skyliner over and then do your walk run there. Mm-hmm. And then Coronado Springs, I think it's 3/4 of a mile around the lake. So that's a beautiful area. And I love that resort in itself. And then I like the water, but if you don't want to be around the water, Fort Wilderness Resort, the grounds there are huge. Then you can see wildlife, and they have so many great locations to walk and run.
You can do the Run Disney events too, not running. Because listen, I have done the running thing. I've been there. I've done that. I've done multiple half marathons. I've done this. I am not the one. I am not here for that anymore. I don't do the running thing anymore. So my husband and I are doing the Tower of Terror 10 miler this weekend as a walk. We're just doing it as a walk because we want to be a part of the event. We know it'll be a lot of fun, and we're just doing it as a walk. And I'm going to do the one in November, Wine and Dine, as a walk. So as long as you keep a certain pace, you can be a part of it. I learned that from Amanda. I'm like, can I walk these, Amanda? She's like, yes, but you have to stay in front of the women that tell you that you're too slow. And I'm like, okay, that's a good tip. So we're just going to walk those because I just want to be part of the community and be around other kind of like-minded, healthy-minded folks. And I feel zero compunction to run these. I can walk them and be perfectly fine and still be a part of the event. And so I think maybe not everyone knows that you don't have to be a runner to do these. You can be a walker at a good pace and do these events and still be a part of it. And they're just a lot of fun.
And the nice thing too, and I think this is sort of a hidden treasure in Walt Disney World that a lot of guests don't necessarily know about, that in addition to the multiple Run Disney events that happen throughout the year, so many of the resorts in Walt Disney World have their own fun runs that happen every week for guests, and you don't need to be a guest of that resort in order to participate. They are less expensive. I think they're like $10, $15 maybe, much shorter than Run Disney events. They are family friendly. You can, and I've seen people do it like with strollers. They have medals and awards and like pins and water bottles if you participate. And I say that they're relatively hidden gems because other than looking at your resort's recreation guide, sometimes you don't necessarily know that they're even going on. And what they normally take place about 7 to 9 o'clock in the morning. You only have to register the morning of. You don't have to worry about doing it. Same thing. You can walk instead of run. They happen at a number of different places. I'm going to refer over to Lisa's site, the Castle Run again. So they have one at the Port Orleans French Quarter, the Beignet Dash, which the only word I heard in that sentence was beignet. At Riviera, they have the Topolino Trot. All-Star has their own. Old Key West, Coronado, Saratoga Springs, Yacht and Beach Club, Boardwalk has the Seaside Sprint, and Fort Wilderness also, I think, has some seasonal 5Ks during the holidays, Halloween, and Thanksgiving. So you need to obviously check, especially now, just to make sure they're back. I'll put a link to her list and her guide in the show notes. But these are great ways, too, to add, I think it's beyond the exercise part, but it adds a fun additional activity that you could do alone, you could do with your friends, your spouse, and your kids, too, without having this investment of time, money, and training like a traditional Run Disney marathon event weekend.
To the point of just sort of making a memory and doing it with your family, my youngest daughter and I took a morning a couple of years ago and went over to Fort Wilderness and rented bikes and just rode bikes around for a couple hours. We still talk about that. I mean, I don't know what that was. $50. I don't even know if it was that much. $20. I really literally have no idea. I just know that this many years later, we still talk about, oh my gosh, that one morning was so much fun. And all we did was ride bikes around the property. We saw water. We were on trails. We saw the horses, went to the stable. I mean, it was almost like a non-Disney type activity. And yet it was very Disney. And we were having this wonderful core memory that we still talk about later, moving our bodies, being outside. So also explore some of those other places, the bikes over there, the horses over there. Like Amanda said, the trails over there. That's kind of a cool resort that has some other activities as well.
I love Fort Wilderness. We took my goddaughters. They went canoeing. You can rent kayaks. They did pony rides. I had friends that went on horseback rides over there. And then, like you were saying, too, other resorts, like Riviera has a bocce ball court. A lot of the deluxe resorts have tennis, basketball, volleyball, and of course, my favorite, swimming, which every resort, of course, has the pools and then the water parks.
Yeah, and I think that, that's part of what I want to make sure we deliver home. You can exercise, get and stay fit and healthy while still having fun doing it. It's not the sort of dedicated time in the gym. Like you mentioned, all those activities you can do alone. I happened while we were talking, I was looking at Lisa's site, and the photos that she has of her doing the fun runs are with her young kids, right? Both, I think her kids are around 7 and 9, or 8 and 10, somewhere around there. And it's a fun thing that they can do together. And whether you don't need this dedicated activity to go and get some exercise in the pool or play tennis, they have canoeing and kayaking rentals. And this summer, like I promise I'm going to do it because I love to kayak. And it's a great way to get some of that exercise while having a fun activity too. And I believe, I think they're starting to come back in terms of the time of when we're recording this. But the resorts also have fitness classes. And while you do need to be a resort guest to use the facilities and participate in the classes, if you go to the recreation guide or go to the front desk, you'll see that they have like yoga and total body toning and Pilates and aerobics. Riviera has this shake a tail feather family warm-up workout at 8:30 a.m. on Wednesdays and Sundays on the movie lawn. You can rent Surrey bikes. There's foot golf. Like if you're not a golfer, pointing to myself, you could play foot golf at some of the different golf courses. So there's a lot to take part in. I think a number of the resorts still have or have brought back complimentary yoga classes in the mornings as well. And I don't just mean deluxe resort. Like I know All-Star has it by the Real Spot and Boardwalk, Coronado, Saratoga, Wilderness Lodge. Like, again, check with your resort and if you have to be a resort guest in order to do it. But Disney makes it, I think, very easy, very accessible, depending on where you are in terms of what you want, where you are in your fitness journey, and, you know, they can be fun things to do individually or together as well.
And that plays into I think the mindset that probably, I don't want to make an assumption, but probably this isn't your last trip to Walt Disney World. So it's okay if you take a couple hours and go ride bike somewhere or play bocce ball or do something because those experiences can become the core memory that you're also trying to make at Magic Kingdom or Epcot or whatever. You can make those in other places too. And sometimes those are the memories that our children remember almost more than, the mad dash into the park. So just wrapping your head around the knowledge that this is probably not your last visit here. And even if it was, you still wouldn't get everything done ever. So that's the beautiful thing about this place. You'll just never get everything done. So knowing that it's okay to take a couple hours, come out of the park, give yourself a moment, go do something fun and active someplace else, create a different kind of core memory with your kids, with your family, and then come back to the park later. You'll probably be better for it.
Yeah, absolutely. Even miniature golf, the different miniature golf courses, and of course, regular golf too. You could go any different activity level, depending on, if it's a non-park day, maybe you want to hit it hard in the morning when it's not as hot out. And then in the afternoon, do something that maybe doesn't take quite as much out of you. I mean, there's so many different options to play with. And I really think it is thinking outside of the box. And yes, there are the fitness centers at the resorts, but that's not necessarily what you always have to go to get in that physical activity.
And that brings me to my next point, because I've seen both of your Instagram stories, and Julie has promised me that we would do. There's ways to sort of also get some of this exercise in your room. You don't have to go out and do a run or a hike or a bike. There's things you can do just to sort of get your body moving while you're in your room, while maybe the kids are still sleeping or everybody's showering, just to sort of get yourself ready for the day and get that blood pumping.
Listen, I have a video somewhere in my archives of me doing Insanity Max 30 in our hotel room with everyone one of my daughters is doing it with me. Everyone else is like walking around behind me, doing their thing. And I'm like, oh, this is 30 minutes and I'm going to be better mom on the other side of this. I don't care what y'all are doing. So I'm like, it's propped up on the desk and like they're walking around behind me. Like, it just is what it is. It's 2022. Everybody knows there are plenty of streaming digital fitness platforms. So I'm air quoting the excuse that I just don't know what to do, or I just can't find anything, or no more. It's 2022. There are too many affordable, convenient digital streaming platforms that have everything you might want: meditation, stuff that doesn't require weights, outdoor runs, outdoor walks, stuff that does require weights, kickboxing, yoga, whatever you want. There are too many platforms out there that have all of those pieces that you can plug your headphones in, turn your phone on, and do something 10 or 15 minutes right in your hotel room and not mess with anything. And maybe it's while your partner is going down to get breakfast for the kids and you do 10 minutes of something, whether it's a meditation or ab work, or it doesn't, who cares? Or you put on some music and you do your own circuits. There are too many options now. I mean, Lou, I've heard you say before, there's always opportunity and adversity. And as heinous as the last 2 years have been, the opportunity that's presented itself is more and more digital options for all of us to bring convenience into our home. And one of those is health and fitness. So we can find something now on a reputable digital streaming platform that we can take anywhere. And golly, I wish I would have had that back in the day when I was coming when my girls were young and I might have had to go to the gym, or I wandered around trying to figure out what the heck to do. And the fact that I can do it in my hotel room and not even leave, especially if I had a baby to do, I can't even imagine how good that must feel, because I know how good it feels right now. And my girls are older. I can't imagine how good that must feel as a parent now with young ones, and you don't want to leave them.
So Julie, you talked about how I always talk about there being opportunity and adversity. There's also opportunity sometimes where you literally will least expect it. I am going to share with you the secret exercise location in Walt Disney World that I will almost guarantee that the two of you, and maybe you, our friend who's listening, has never done before, because you can have your cake, and by cake, I mean your quarter pounder, and eat it too. And you're looking at me like the guy has finally lost his individual marbles. We're talking about eating healthy. The words eating healthy at McDonald's don't necessarily always go mano a mano, hand in hand. However, and this is just a little fun tidbit, there's actually only one remaining McDonald's on Walt Disney World property that a couple of years ago underwent this major renovation, and it's actually beautiful. It has this gorgeous outside seating area. There's solar panel awnings everywhere. Like, it's actually nice if you just need your quarter pounder with cheese. And let's admit it, everybody other than Julie, every now and then we just need a quarter pounder with cheese to make the world right again. But when you go there, around the side, they actually have stationary bikes. And if you pedal the bikes, this is a quadruple super surprise. If you pedal the bike fast enough, you make the gigantic Mickey D logo light up. So there's bikes that you can use. There's hand bikes. So
you are making this up.
Listen, 73% of what I say is not a lie, and this falls into that. No, it's true. So the McDonald's over by
All Stars, right?
All-Star Resorts, yeah. Mm-hmm. So they have these stationary bikes, huge. And they've got these hand bikes. And so you can go there, take your little Julie Voris workout, and get on the bike and go do your thing while your kids just need that, Mayor McCheese Happy Meal. And if you want to do sort of the upper body strength, there's a hand bike there too.
You're right. I did not know that. Did you know that, Amanda?
No. And I have been at that McDonald's, so I did not.
See, you have wowed us all. We had no idea.
I'm going to do a Wednesday night live show from that McDonald's. You two get on the bikes. I'll get in front of the quarter pounder with cheese.
Amanda and I will light up the sign. I love it so much.
I do love that, Lou. I love that as a good example too, though, of anyone that might be needing an ECV, because I have an episode coming out soon about accessibility issues. It's important you could get a workout with the upper body. So that's a great example of a way to do that, and to, again, think a little bit outside the box. Even if you're just wanting to rest, if God forbid you hurt your foot while you're walking around, you can do that with your upper body.
And I think really to sort of wrap this in a bow, I think the takeaway, at least for me, is that you don't have to go all in to be healthy. You don't have to sort of go cold turkey. I'm never doing this. I'm not eating a carb again. Goodbye pasta. Trust me, I did it. I was very hangry. I was not a happy person to be around. Everything in moderation. I think about doing like a healthy swap. Like if you swap, if you want to have that donut, maybe walk a little bit more. If you want to have that other drink, get in some additional steps. If you want to have that quarter pounder or your fuzzy tauntaun, maybe take the long way around to get to your car or get out of the park. Making those balances and doing things in moderation is the way to have an enjoyable, delicious, and healthy, feel-good experience at Walt Disney World.
Lou, I would say, don't forget the spas. Talk about some nice self-care and staying healthy. There are plenty of spas to visit, and also to check in with your body. I once was on a trip, and it was day 8 of 10, and I was with one group of 14 friends, and then they left, and then I was with another group of like 8 friends and their kids. We were at the Halloween party late at night, so I tripped getting into the Tomorrowland Speedway car, completely busted up my knee. Luckily, it was just surface damage. But, I should have listened to my body that I was quite tired and had enough for the evening. So it's good to do that check-in.
That's a great point too, because just like the parents with the kids at 4 p.m. who are like, they're telling their parents, like, we're done now. Again, it's not your it's not your only trip to Walt Disney World. You'll come back, and it's hard to withdraw from the magic and say, okay, I've had enough because it's so amazing. But I think that just knowing that, your goal for coming down here is to have more magic in your life. And your goal for any vacation is to create a memorable experience. And you'll be more likely to do that if you take care of yourself, if you make some good choices, if you're not too precious about it, if you keep it simple, if you keep it accessible, and whatever habits that you have at home, just bringing those down here too. If they made you feel good at home, continue those down here. Don't take a break for them and then feel like you're stepping back. Just do everything you can to make this as magical as it can be. So when you go back home, you're booking your next trip down here, and you're going to feel good when you come down here because you've got these awesome habits in place.
Yeah, when you're exercising at home, you're training for your trip to Walt Disney World because it can be exhausting. And when you're there, you're keeping yourself conditioned for when you go back. And it is this wonderful cycle and circle of life. Thank you both so much for sharing what I think are some enlightening, eye-opening, and some fun ways to stay healthy when you're at Walt Disney World. Amanda and then Julie, please tell everybody where they can find you on the social.
Oh, certainly. I'm at Disney Travel for All on Facebook and Instagram, and also at Amanda Bonner on Instagram, where I'm sharing more of my health journey there, but kind of merging that in with the Healthy Disney at Disney Travel for All. And of course, the DisneyTravelForAll.com website, where I have some Healthy Disney items there too, and my podcast. And I do a few episodes on Healthy Disney, and looking to do more of those soon.
I am at julievoris.com. I'm also on the gram, and listen, I love the gram. So if we can connect on the gram, I'm all about the gram. I love it so much. I go live on there a lot. I'm on my stories a lot when I'm in the parks. I'm always trying to share that. And, when I share those pictures and I share those times when we're over there, I'm always hopeful that people are never interpreting it as like, look what I'm doing. I'm always sharing it like, look at this, it's so amazing. Like, I can't believe I get to do this. And I just want to share it with people because I want people to know that, if they're thinking about making the move down here, you can do it and don't wait. And you can come down here, and I promise you'll be like Amanda and I and Lou and wish you would have done it sooner. And we'll all live to be 150 going to Disney every day.
Absolutely. And I will link to all of your stuff on the social. We will have to do this again. Maybe we'll do a live dining review somewhere where we actually put into practice some of our eating healthy at Walt Disney World tactics. And by us, I mean the two of you can do that while I eat my chicken sugo rigatoni at
Tres leches cake. We could have tres leches cake. It's so good.
Oh, that tres
leches.
Oh my gosh. La Fresca during the festival is so good. All right, now that you've got me hungry, take us out, ladies, with what is your indulgence, right? We've talked about all the healthy stuff that but if you could go to Walt, like what is that thing that you just need to sometimes indulge in Walt Disney World?
Mine's just a plain Dole Whip swirl with vanilla ice cream. Can't go wrong with that classic.
I would say that too, because I'm vegan and because I'm gluten-free, the Dole Whip is like, mwah. And now that they have flavors, and there's even a place in Disney Springs where you can get a flight of different flavors. Yes. Okay, let's go. I love that.
And because it has pineapple, by definition, it's healthy.
It's healthy. Yes, that's correct. Yes.
It's nice to dine with fruits and vegetables. Veggie fruit. Hooray!
It's time for our Walt Disney World Trivia Question of the Week, where I invite you to test your knowledge of Walt Disney World's history or see how well you pay attention to the details. What you see, hear, taste, or remember. If you think you know the answer, you can enter for a chance to win a Disney prize package. This week's trivia contest is once again brought to you by you, because as part of the WDW Radio Nation, you literally help bring every episode of WDW Radio to life, every live broadcast. They're all thanks to, by, for, and about you. You can find out how you can help the show become part of the nation for as little as $1 a month and get cool exclusive rewards every month like scavenger hunts, trivia quest. We do a monthly group video call, private Facebook group, shirts, stickers, care packages, and much more. You can find out how you can help the show and our Dream Team project to benefit the Make-A-Wish Foundation of America by going to wdwradio.com/support. I want to quickly thank some new and longtime members of the WDW Radio Nation family, including Mike Grove, Scott Coleman, Joseph Herbert, Donna Milligan, and Barbara Hoffman. Thank you for your love, support, friendship, and help. Again, to find out more and become part of the nation, visit wdwradio.com/support. Now, before we get to this week's question, we're going to go back, review last week's, and select our winner. So, inspired by Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind coming soon to Epcot Center, and what location was originally in that place, which was Ellen's Energy Adventure, it prompted the question, which was to tell me, in Ellen's dream sequence, she welcomes Bill Nye, the science guy, who actually says that he didn't come to see her, instead he came to see who? So thanks to everyone who entered, got this one correct, and knew that the answer was, of course, well, I'll let Bill tell you himself.
Ellen! Ellen!
Who is it?
It's me, Bill Nye the Science Guy.
Hey, I'm glad you came to help me.
Actually, I came to see Einstein.
So the answer was, of course, Albert Einstein. I took all the correct entries, randomly selected one, and last week you were playing for a WDW Radio pin and keychain and bonus mystery prize only available as trivia contest prizes, and last week's winner, randomly selected, is Mark Dwayne. So Mark, congratulations. I'll get your prize package out to you right away. If you played last week and didn't win, that's okay, because here's your next chance to enter in this week's Walt Disney World Trivia Challenge. So this week, I want you to tell me simply, where in Walt Disney World have you seen Professor Cumulus Isobar? Where in Walt Disney World have you, or can you, or at one time could you see Professor Cumulus Isobar? You have until Sunday, April 3rd at 11:59 p.m. Eastern to go to wdwradio.com, click on this week's podcast, use the form there. Again, you're going to play for the pin, the keychain, and a bonus mystery prize. So good luck and have fun. That's going to do it for this week's show. Thank you so much for taking the time to tune in this and every week. I'd love for you to come be part of the community and conversation over in the WDW Radio Clubhouse over on Facebook at wdwradio.com/clubhouse. I'd love to hear your thoughts or tips about staying and getting healthy at Walt Disney World, as well as anything in the Disney, Marvel, and Star Wars universe. Also, head on over to our spoiler support group at wdwradio.com/spoilers, where we're going to be talking about Moon Knight coming out this Wednesday on Disney+. You can also connect with me online. I am at Lou Mongello on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Be sure to like the WDW Radio page at facebook.com/WDW Radio and turn on notifications so you don't miss anything, including our live broadcast every Wednesday night, where I walk and talk with you through the Disney parks or at home, where we talk about our Disney Plus pick of the week, what's new and news in Walt Disney World, our interactive Top 5 Live, your questions, calls, and much more. Of course, as much as I love connecting and talking with you online, nothing beats a handshake and a hug. So check out our WDW Radio events page, either on Facebook or at wdwradio.com/events. We have not one, not two, but 3 group cruises on the Disney Wish and Disney Fantasy. Our next meeting of the month is this Saturday in Epcot, which is part of the Run Disney Springtime Surprise Weekend, and a lot more coming up, both in Walt Disney World as well as on the road. Please visit LouMongello.com to find out how I can help you turn what you love into what you do through one-on-one or small group coaching. My Momentum Weekend Retreat in Walt Disney World has just 1 seat left for our May event, and my Momentum Weekend Workshop is coming up this October. And if I can come speak to your business, your school, or your conference, you can find out more again by visiting LouMongello.com. Thanks as always to Mouse Fan Travel, who's not just my travel provider and sponsor, but they are trusted family and friends. Whether you're going to any Disney destination or anywhere in the world, they'll help you get the best possible prices, all available discounts, incredible levels of personal service that all comes at no cost to you. You can find out more and get a free no obligation quote over at mousefantravel.com. And as always, my friend, and you are my friend, whether we have met yet or not, all I ask is that if you like the show, please help spread the word. Tell a friend, share a link to this or your favorite episode on social, leave a quick rating over on Spotify Podcasts, or take just a couple of seconds to rate and review the show. I want to thank some reviewers like D. Reeve from Canada, who says, "It's comfort food. I love Lou's passion, not just for Walt Disney World, but for life. This guy cares. You sing it, brother. I do." And Tom Kreider says, "Not only is it one of the best Disney podcasts, the guy really, Lou, pours his heart and soul into every episode. He's your friend, whether we have met yet or not." And Annie says, even though I've been listening for only 3 weeks, this is my favorite podcast ever. I've listened to 100 episodes already. Wow, it's a lot of Lou. And I cannot wait to listen to the rest. Thank you all so very much for the reviews, for listening, for your time, your support, your friendship. I swear to you, it means more than I can express. I hope that the show has brought not just a little bit of Disney magic into your life, but a little bit of happiness, a little bit of positivity, and you pay that positivity forward to others. Choose the good. Always, and be the good now more than ever for others. I love you. I appreciate you so very much. I hope to see you at the meet of the month or next Wednesday night on the live show. So until then, see ya.
Hey Lou, hey everyone. It's Victoria Gist from Danbury, Connecticut, aka your black and white 1960s Wanda. I was so excited to hear Jeff mention my husband Seth and my costumes on the latest show. And so excited that he talked about the chilled mango soup, because I was that person screaming at the farewell party that it was my favorite part of the cruise. And while that might be an exaggeration, it is my favorite story about the cruise, and I felt compelled to share it because it really is an example of how the cast members on the ship go above and beyond. It was dinner and our first night at Animator's Palette, I think, during Pirate Night. I had the chilled avocado soup the night before because I, too, like to try the different things that I wouldn't normally eat when I'm on the cruise. But it had kind of put me off to chilled soup. However, Seth did get the chilled mango soup and insisted I try it. And I called out to Santiago, our server, asking if it was too late to try some. And he insisted it wasn't. He got me another bowl, and I could not stop talking about it. You could ask all of Table 20 if I loved the chilled mango soup, and they would answer with a resounding yes, to the point that at the end of the night, when Santiago asked if there was anything else they could do for us, I said, I need the recipe to this soup. And he insisted he could get it for me, and sure enough, the very next night, our head server brought me the recipe. And now I can make my own chilled mango soup with some, changes for the amounts, of course, because I'm not feeding an entire ship. But it's going to remind me of this magical cruise we got to have with all of you over and over again. It really just brightened up my whole experience, made me feel so special, so loved, so taken care of. It's the reason why we don't even bother looking at other cruise ships, because Disney Cruise Line, their dedication and their commitment to their guests is just a level beyond. We had such a fantastic time. We miss you all so much. We can't wait to get on another cruise with all of you in particular. So thank you for such a great time, for such a great community, and for such a great opportunity. Cannot wait for the next one. Can't say it enough. Bye now.
Hey Lou, this is Corey from Cleveland, Ohio, former cast member here. Just wanted to call. I've been listening for the last few years now, ever since the pandemic, and I just saw that Disney announced, or at least Disneyland, announced the return of Nighttime Spectaculars and Fantasmic, and I just wanted to call because I felt the need to express just how excited cast members are that it seems like things are finally getting back to normal. We're so excited to have entertainment back and the things that we love, and it feels by no means is this pandemic over or anything like that, but it just feels that things are finally starting to restore the way that it is, the way that it was before. And as cast members, having that final show of the night where everyone comes together and enjoys their magical day, it is just truly inspiring from a perspective as a cast member. You know that day is kind of the button to a great day that guests have had, and I, for one, am so excited and so thankful to all of the cast members that are currently there. And I know that it's not easy what they do. I've experienced that myself off and on. But this announcement of all of these shows coming back and final entertainment pieces, I think are huge, and want to welcome all of those entertainment cast members back. Love your show. Keep up the great work. It's gotten me through this pandemic for sure. And welcome back to our beloved Disneyland Fantasmic and World of Color.
Hi, everybody. It's Elizabeth from Massachusetts. I'm calling for 2 reasons. Number one, love listener email episodes. And I think I'm supposed to call in about something to do with international parks, but not gonna lie, I have never been to them. I've been to Disneyland, been to Disney World, but I have not had the pleasure of going overseas to a Disney park, but it's certainly on my bucket list. So if I could choose any park though, like overall, so I guess I'm going to answer this in a true Lou Montello way, because I kind of have a two-parter here. If I could choose to like go to any park as a whole from what I've seen and looked at and read about, I would go to Tokyo and go to Disney Sea. However, if I could go on any one attraction, I would do a lot of things to get on Shanghai's Pirates. I have avoided every YouTube video my entire life because I've been told it's absolutely insane. And there's a special spot in my heart for Pirates of the Caribbean films and ride anyway, so I want to go on that more than anything. Secondly, Encanto, I am obsessed, and I'm its number one fan. Anyone who has not seen it needs to stop what they're doing immediately and go watch. It's so good. Lin-Manuel Miranda is an absolute genius. The lyrics are so clever and smart, and you have to almost listen and watch more than once, because as it sinks in, it becomes better. But I watched it one time through and was like, okay, that was cute, it was good, whatever, and then could not stop thinking about it for the next, 48 hours, and proceeded to watch it, 2 more times, and listen to the soundtrack. I love that it's about family. I love that it's about family dysfunction. And I don't think Disney has quite had a story only about that. So yeah, I am in love with it. I don't know what else to say. So everyone should go watch, immediately, and just doing a huge shout out for that film because it is everything and anything I've been thinking about. And also, can we get a fun Haunted Mansion ride where the house is a lot of fun, in the movie? Because I think that needs to happen. Anywho, hope everyone's doing awesome. It is Friday here in Massachusetts as I'm calling. It's Friday everywhere. Oh my God. But I hope you're having a fantastic day and have a fantastic day. And yeah, make magic and be awesome. I'll talk to you all soon and see you soon, but not really. Anyway.
Come on, baby, let's exercise. It's really wise to exercise.
Get a load of Mr. Exercise.
We never worried about being healthy, and look at us.
Yeah, people want to eat too much, exercise too little, and we love it. Yeah. Eat on.
There's plenty of treats out there that are good to eat, but remember, always eat in moderation.
What you